panic. Before this kicks off, I know some of you will get this. This intro, listen to it. This intro sounds like 90s alternative about to kick off. Maybe like late 90s, early 2000s. Sometimes you want a burger. You know, that real teeny kind of like, blah, 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 da, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I hope that's not where they're going. If there is, I'm going like it's such a dick. Thanks, Jackson. Ooh. Thank God. 저기 어딘가로 고요한 방 안에 남아 덩그러니 주워 담지 못할 흘러가 버린 그 아픔은 아직 그대로 깊어져 가는 이 밤들 너였더라면 어땠을까 어두운 밤 아래 머물지 않고 지나가자 멍든 날 속에 내 뒷걸음 걸음마다 너와 나 헤쳐갈 테니까 This is my answer This is my answer 시추운 날도 지나갈 테니까 무너지는 맘을 꽉 잡아 I don't wanna run away anymore. Oh, I 빌어먹을 세상 속에서 보란 듯이 당당하게 말해줄 테니 더 빈 맘속에 머물지 않고 흘러가자 멍든 날 속에 내 뒷걸음 걸음마다 너와 나 헤쳐갈 테니까 That melody sounds like I will buy you a garden. I don't know who sang that, but that's what I think of. You're welcome. This is my answer. Ooh, very 90s alternative. Closing Time. That's like another good one. Was it Everclear? I will buy you a garden. I will cook you some pasta. Huh. Man, so we get some electric guitar with there's some dissonance in there. But we also get the record player fuzz over it. The slightest bit of like oral distortion. AURAL, not ORAL. Which is nice because they bookend the whole song with that. Man, even maybe these are the shoes that he wears all the time, but with this vibe of the song, with these baggy ass jeans and these Converse, we time traveling. That's how I feel. Yeah, Soundgarden, Collective Soul, Everclear. Yeah. Yeah. Now, how many of you, when you saw this shot, how many of you thought, yo, that's the spot that they filmed Wildflower? Eugene and Junie. Wildflower. Ooh, Third Eye Blind. Good one. Yeah. Yep. All day. The first thing I thought of. So the song is called Panic. We have a layer of creation, as in like music creation, art creation. I think these are like song lyrics or some type of creative expression on the wall. We've got a layer of struggle, challenge, depression, a lack of certainty, reflection, potentially isolation. Yeah, all alone, okay? And then the music where he's... So there's more expression of struggle and lack of certainty. This right here is a great shot. Same hallway we saw earlier, but it's this wide, and he's just like trapped. Days of bruises, every step we take, he's getting kind of beat up. And then here is the storm that he's kind of facing. Recording the song. Ooh, the claustrophobia and panic. And then we have the actual playing of the song. So it looks to me like the water that we see in this scene coming up with the musical instruments, like there's this storm of, I mean, and it could be panic, but I don't think it's a storm of panic. It is a storm of self-doubt or lack of confidence, like whatever it is, but this is a storm that is coming, and he is panicking in the approach of this storm, is how it seems. Did he write this while Subin was on hiatus? He was lost without Subin. Yeah, mental storm. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, it's very, especially this shot right here, a great way to express that he is unstable. He feels a lack of stability. He can't seem to get his footing. And if your theory is right, you know, he's expressing that he's lost without Subin per se. This is a great way to show that. Ooh, that is a great shot. And I love this shot. If this is a matter of isolation and loneliness, this shot speaks volumes, because he's by himself, but he's not just alone in a room. There are other instruments that are there to remind you that it's not usually just him by himself. He has other people with him. And it's set up. It's literally like they were here and then they left. And there's just this kind of emptiness. This would be a completely different message if it was a very clean living room with a couple guitars on stands, no cables, even a drum set, even an amplifier. But the fact that we see all of these cables represent activity, recent activity, an activity that It's palpable. You can feel it. And that right there. So we have multiple ways of the expression of the storm. But this right here, to me, is not him looking at the storm. He's looking at that light at the end of the tunnel. Right in his eye line. He's like, I know it's coming. It's going to be okay. I have to get through this part. And that right there is the confirmation. Because we switch to him, like seeing his face, and we get that reflection of the sunlight in his eyes. Now, granted, it's a light that's doing that, but that's what they're representing. Fantastic. Fantastic. And you notice all these different shots are showing different ways of how he feels closed in, trapped, isolated. Like, yeah, he might have this whole bedroom, right? But he's in the closet. He's still somehow putting himself in this box, and he just can't seem to get out of it. And then even here in the bed, he's getting crunched in. This right here, simple concept, perfectly executed. Perfectly executed. Now I'll make one more theory. And this is probably more geared towards me as a person, but this is how I would feel if I were in his shoes. If I'm feeling lost without somebody, and this is one of my musical compadres, if you will, I'm probably, especially in a solo experience like this, I'm going to do what I feel my default. I'm going to go to what is comfortable for me. And if this type of music is what I fall back on, this like 90s alternative, like Nirvana, yes, Nirvana is 90s alternative, but like the Soundgarden and some of the unplugged stuff, like that's where my formative years were spent as a teenager. That's probably where I would go to help deal with and process some of these emotions. So seeing moments like this and hearing the sound of this song makes me wonder if that's a similar feeling that he has, where his default mode is that type of music that makes him feel like at home. And even if it is that weird kind of comfortably numb level of depression or sadness that you just find comfort in, sometimes it's just kind of where we land. Like that's where we process emotions. Because there's a numbness that kind of blocks out all of the other bullshit that the day will throw at you. And it quiets enough external things so that you can kind of focus internally and process what you're actually going through. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just kind of how I see this. I think this is really, really a beautiful video. Wow. Let me see how it ends again.
This is my answer.
Interesting.
This is my answer.
See, this, so it looks like he's going outside We don't see a storm still. It's a very clear sky, blue sky, no storm. You can kind of see, if you look at the gradient of the blue beyond him, you can see that there's sunshine down that way. Off in the distance, the sun is rising. Things are getting better, blue skies, calmer seas, whatever. And he's looking to see if the storm is gone. This is how I'm interpreting this. Yeah, after the storm, right. And that would be enough for me to go, okay, he weathered the storm. It's good. Everything's going to be fine. But this last shot is him looking back at us. And I wonder why. Is it a message to the fandom? Is it his way of saying, you can do this too? Yeah, maybe it's, I'm okay, I'll be okay. Yeah. And maybe it's also kind of a dual layer thing where it's, he's telling you that he's okay, or that he will be okay, but he's also kind of more referencing the fact that, hey, I'm going to be okay, which means you're going to be okay. You know? A lot of times watching somebody go through something is sometimes the only thing we need to understand that we too can get through it. It's one of the reasons that I'm always so deliberate about this being, it's a YouTube channel, but I also want it to feel less like a YouTube channel and more like a shared experience, regardless of how many miles or kilometers separate all of us on our proverbial couch and corner of the internet. I'll say something that you in your country can relate to. You know, we have different upbringings. We speak different languages. We different genders, all kinds of stuff, different cultures. But there's so much that we relate to on so many levels. And I think the more we do this, the more you see that and you realize, like I've always said, and like other people say, that we are a lot more alike, a lot more similar than we are different. Connection, yeah. Pieces of art like this, great ways of bridging the gap and reminding people that even within all of the cultures that we span, not just us as the couch, but humanity, that we still connect on the most basic levels, the most primal cellular levels. We are more alike than we are different. Ooh, that was good. That was really good.